Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec back with another video for you guys. Today's video, we are continuing on with TryHackMe. This is the Cybersecurity 101 learning path and the networking module. This is Networking Secure Protocols Room. Learn how TLS, SSH, and VPN can secure your network traffic. So, hopefully you're all ready to learn something today, and let's go ahead and jump into it. Task number one is the introduction. In the Networking Core Protocols room, we learned about the protocols used to browse the web and access email, among others. These protocols work great, however, they cannot protect the confidentiality, integrity, or authenticity of the data transferred. In simpler terms, when we say that confidentiality is not protected, it means that someone watching the packets can read your password or credit card information when sent over HTTP. Similarly, they can access your private documents when sent via email. As for not protecting the integrity of the data, it means that an adversary can change the contents of the transfer data. In other words, if you authorize the payment of £100, they can easily change it to another value, such as £800. Authenticity means ensuring we are talking with the correct server, not a fake one. Important online transactions are risky without ensuring confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity. Transport layer security, known as TLS, is added to existing protocols to protect communication, confidentiality, integrity, and authenticity. Consequently, HTTP, POP3, SMTP, and IMAP become HTTPS, POP3S, SMTPS, and IMAP-S, where the appended S stands for secure. We will examine these protocols and the benefits we reaped from TLS. Similarly, it is deemed insecure to remotely access a system using Telnet protocol. Secure Shell, also known as SSH, was created to provide a secure way to access the remote systems. Furthermore, SSH is an extensible protocol that offers added security features for other protocols. Room prerequisites. Basically, do the other rooms before you get to this one, which is the networking secure protocols. We recommend finishing all the previous rooms. Learning objectives. Upon finishing this room, you learn about SSL/TLS, how to secure existing plaintext protocols, HTTP, SMTP, POP3, IMAP, how SSH replaced the plaintext telnet, how VPN creates a secure network over an insecure one. Please ensure you have finished the networking core protocols room at minimum. So be sure to do that if you haven't done so already, or you can go and watch my video. Task number two, we're going to talk about TLS stuff. At one point, you would only need a packet capturing tool to read all the chats, emails, and passwords of the users on your network. It was not uncommon for an attacker to set their network card in promiscuous mode, i.e. to capture all packets, including those not destined to it. They would later go through all the packet captures and obtain the login credentials of unsuspecting victims. There was nothing a user could do to prevent their login password from being sent in clear text. Nowadays, it has become uncommon to come across a service that sends login credentials in clear text. In the early 1990s, Netscape Communications recognized the need for secure communication on the World Wide Web. They eventually developed SSL, Secure Sockets Layer, and released SSL 2.0 in 1995 as the first public version. In 1999, the Internet Engineering Task Force, IETF, developed TLS, Transport Layer Security. Although very similar, TLS 1.0 was an upgrade to SSL 3.0 and offered various improved security measures. In 2018, TLS had a significant overhaul of its protocol, and TLS 1.3 was released. The purpose is not to remember the exact dates, but to realize the amount of work and time put into developing the current version of TLS, i.e. TLS 1.3. Over more than 2 decades, there have been many things to learn from and improve with every version. Like SSL, its predecessor, TLS is a cryptographic protocol operating at the OSI model's transport layer. It allows secure communication between a client and a server over an insecure network. By secure, we refer to confidentiality and integrity. TLS ensures that no one can read or modify the exchange data. Please take a minute to think about what it would be like to do online shopping, online banking, or even online messaging and email without being able to guarantee the confidentiality and integrity of the network packets. Without TLS, we would be unable to use the internet for many applications that are now part of our daily routine. Nowadays, tens of protocols have received security upgrades with the simple addition of TLS. Examples include HTTP, DNS, MQTT, whatever that is, and SIP, which have become HTTPS dot, which is DNS over TLS, MQTTS, and SIPs, where the appended S stands for secure due to the use of SSL/TLS. In the following tasks, we will visit HTTPS, HMTPS, POP3S, and IMAPS. Technical background. We will not discuss the TLS handshake. However, if you are curious, you can check out the Network Security Protocols room, so check that out if you're interested. We will give a general overview of how TLS is set up and used. The first step of every server or client that needs to identify itself is to get a signed TLS certificate. Generally, the server administrator creates a certificate signing request, which is the CSR, and submits it to a certificate authority, which is the CA. The CA verifies the CSR and issues a digital certificate. Once the signed certificate is received, it can be used to identify the server or the client to others who can confirm the validity of the signature. For a host to confirm the validity of a signed certificate, the certificate of the signing certificates authorities, need to be installed on the host. In the non-digital world, this is similar to recognizing the stamps of various authorities. The screenshot below shows the trusted authorities installed on a web browser, and this is what it looks like here. All right. Generally speaking, getting a certificate signed requires paying an annual fee. However, Let's Encrypt allows you to get your certificate signed for free, and this service is legitimate, but unfortunately, a lot of attackers have realized, hey, well, I can get a free cert and I could make my phishing website or my malicious website HTTPS, right, without throwing an error on the web browser side of things. So I'm going to go to Let's Encrypt and get a free certificate here so I can make my malicious activity appear to be more legitimate to unsuspecting victims. All right, but Let's Encrypt is a legitimate service. Finally, we should mention that some users opt to create a self-signed certificate. A self-signed certificate cannot prove the server's authenticities as no third party has confirmed it. And you'll see this a lot of times in internal networks and stuff, self-signed certificates and all that. All right, question time. What is the protocol name that TLS upgraded and built upon? What type of certificates should not be used to confirm the authenticity of a server? So go ahead and try to figure out these answers and then come back to the video and we will continue on. All right, let's take a look at this first one. Well, that one's going to be SSL, of course. And then this last one, it says certificates should not be used to confirm the authenticity of a server. Well, that should be self-signed certificate because it's not. It says the server's authenticity has no third party has confirmed it. So there you go. This should be the answer for this one. Task number 3, HTTPS. HTTP. As we studied in the networking core protocols room, HTTP relies on TCP and uses port 80 by default. We also saw how all HTTP traffic was sent in clear text for anyone to intercept and monitor. The screenshot below is from the previous room and it gives a clear idea of how an adversary can easily read all traffic exchanged between the client to server, and that's what it looks like here. Well, this is a lot bigger. Okay, so we've already seen this before. Let's take a minute to review the most common steps for a browser can request a page over HTTP. After resolving the domain name to an IP address, the client will carry out the following 2 steps. Number 1, establish a TCP 3-way handshake with the target server. Number 2, communicate using HTTP protocol. For example, issue HTTP requests such as GET and then the rest there. The 2 steps described above are shown in the window below. The packets, or 3 packets for the TCP handshake marked with 1 preceded by the first HTTP packet with GET in it. The HTTP communication is marked with 2. The last 3 display packets are for TCP connection, termination, and are marked with 3. And this was what it looks like here, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you can see down here it's a GET. All right, you can also see that up here too. HTTP over TLS. HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. It is basically HTTP over TLS. Consequently, requesting a page over HTTPS will require the following 3 steps after resolving the domain name. Number 1, establish a TCP 3-way handshake with the target server. Number 2, establish a TLS session. Number 3, communicate using the HTTP protocol. For example, issue HTTP requests such as GET. The screenshot below shows what a TCP session is established in the first 3 packets marked with 1. And then several Packets are exchanged to negotiate the TLS protocol, marked with 2. Finally, HTTP application data is exchanged, marked with 3. Looking at the Wireshark screenshot, we see that it says application data because there's no way to know if it is indeed HTTP or some other protocol sent over report 443. You can see that here. Okay, right. So you won't be able to read the contents because it's encrypted, right? And you can see that's using TLS version 1.3. All right. As expected, if someone tries to follow the stream of packets and combine all their contents, they will only get gibberish, as shown in the screenshot below. The exchange traffic is encrypted, the red is sent by the client, and the blue is sent by the server. There's no way to know the contents without acquiring the encryption key. And this is exactly what it looks like if you ever looked at one of these packets out of Wireshark, okay? It's all scrambled. Getting the encryption key. Adding TLS to HTTP leads to all the packets being encrypted. We can no longer see the contents of the exchange packets unless we get access to the private key, although it is improbable that we will have access to the keys used for encryption in a TLS session. We repeated the above screenshots after providing the encryption key to Wireshark. The TLS and the TCP and TLS handshakes don't change. The main difference starts with the HTTP protocol Mark III. For instance, we can see when the client issues a GET, okay, and this is what we're talking about here. All right. If you want to see the data exchange, now is your chance. It is still regular HTTP traffic hidden from prying eyes. Okay, so when it's decrypted, it's what it looks like here. All right, regular stuff. You can see everything in there. The key takeaway is that TLS offered security for HTTP without requiring any changes in the higher layer protocols. In other words, TCP and IP were not modified while HTTP was sent over TLS the way it would be sent over TCP. All right, question time. How many packets did the TLS negotiation and establishment take in the Wireshark HTTP as screenshots above? What is the number of packets that contain the get login when accessing the website over HTTPS? So go ahead and try to figure these out, then come back to the video and we will continue on. All right, the first question, let's take a look at this screenshot here. Okay, so we'll take a look at this activity. We got 1, 2, Synac, okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that appears to be our answer for the first question, okay? And the next one is the get login, is what we're looking for. So this says get login right here, and then you go up into the screenshot right here, and let's locate that real quick. See how 10 is highlighted? That's the one we're taking a look at. Headers get login. So that's the answer for that one. And task number 4, SMTPS, POP3S, and IMAPS, or IMAPS, however you pronounce it. Adding TLS to SMTP POP3 and IMAP is no different than adding TLS to HTTP, similar to how HTTP gets an appended S for secure and becomes HTTPS. SMTP, POP3, and IMAP become SMTPS, POP3S, and IMAPS, respectively. Using these protocols over TLS is no different than using HTTP over TLS. Therefore, almost all the points from the HTTP discussion apply to these protocols. The insecure versions use the default TCP port numbers shown in the table below. So you can see that here, HTTP, port 80, SMTP 25, and so on and so forth. The secure versions, i.e. over TLS, use the following TCP port numbers by default: HTTPS 443, SMTPS 465, and 587, so on and so forth. TLS can be added to many other protocols. The reasoning and advantages would be similar. If you want to capture network traffic, in which of the following protocols can you extract login credentials? SMTPS, POP3S, or IMAP? Well, that's going to be IMAP because remember, S is the secure version, which is encrypted traffic. So you're not going to be able to see that without the proper key. All right, so it's going to be IMAP because it's going to be clear text information there. Task number 5, we're going to get into SSH, which is secure shell. We have used the Telnet protocol in the networking concepts room. Although it is very convenient to log in and administer remote systems, it is risky when all the traffic is sent in clear text. It is easy for anyone monitoring the network traffic to get a hold of your login credentials once you use Telnet. This problem necessitated a solution. Tatu, I don't even know. I'm just going to say Tatu developed the secure shell SSH protocol and released SSH-1 in 1995 as freeware. Interestingly, it was the same year that Netscape Communications released the TLS 2.0 protocol, a more secure version SSH2 was defined in 1996. In 1999, the OpenBSD developers released OpenSSH, an open source implementation of SSH. Nowadays, when you use an SSH client, it is most likely based on OpenSSH libraries and source code. Thank you for the smart people that developed this technology and protocols. OpenSSH offers several benefits. We will list a few key points. Secure authentication. Besides password-based authentication, SSH supports public key and two-factor authentication. Confidentiality. OpenSSH provides end-to-end encryption, protecting against eavesdropping. Furthermore, it notifies you of new server keys to protect you against man-in-the-middle attacks. That's right. You will see that when you use this to log into systems using SSH. You'll get that warning message, I believe. Integrity. In addition to protecting the confidentiality of the exchange data, cryptography also protects the integrity of the traffic. Tunneling. SSH can create a secure tunnel to route other protocols to SSH. This setup leads to VPN-like connection. Yep, SSH tunneling. X11 forwarding. If you connect to a Unix-like system with a graphical user interface known as a GUI, SSH allows you to use the graphical application over the network. You would issue the command SSH, then username and hostname to connect to an SSH server. If the username is the same as your logged in username, you only need to use SSH and then hostname. Then you will be asked for a password. However, if public key authentication is used, you will be logged in immediately. The screenshot below shows an example of running Wireshark on a remote Kali Linux system. The argument dash capital X is required to support running graphical interfaces, for example, SSH, IP, and then dash capital X. The local system needs to have a suitable graphical system installed, and this is what it looks like here, what they're talking about. Okay. While the Telnet server listens on port 23, SSH listens on port 22. What is the name of the open source implementation of the SSH protocol? Well, as we read above, it's going to be OpenSSH. Okay, so that takes care of that task. Task number 6, SFTP and FTPS. So let's take a look and see what they're talking about here. SFTP stands for SSH File Transfer Protocol and allows secure file transfer. It is part of the SSH protocol suite and shares the same port number 22. If enabled in the OpenSSH server configuration, you can connect using a command line such as SFTP username at hostname. Once logged in, you can use commands such as get file name and put file name to download and upload files, respectively. Generally speaking, SFTP commands are Unix-like and can differ from FTP commands. SFTP should not be confused with FTPS. You are right to think that FTPS stands for File Transfer Protocol Secure. How is FTPS secured? Yes, you are correct to estimate that it is secured using TLS, just like HTTPS. While FTP uses port 21, FTPS uses port 990. It requires certificate setup and it can be tricky to allow over strict firewalls as it uses separate connections for control and data transfer. Setting up SFTP server is as easy as enabling an option within the OpenSSH server like HTTPS, SMTPS, POP3S, IMAP-S, and other protocols that rely on TLS for security. FTPS requires a proper TLS certificate to run securely. So click the View Site button to access the related site. Please follow the instructions on the site to obtain the flag. So go ahead and try this yourself, then come back to the video and we will go through it. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look here. See what they're talking about here. Matching clear text protocol to secure protocol. As we have learned in this module, every protocol uses a default port number, and the secure version uses a different default port number. In the following exercise, you need to match the clear text protocol's default port number with the secure protocol's default port number. For example, HTTP listens on TCP port 80 by default, and HTTPS listens on TCP port 443 by default. We should match 80 and 443. Okay, seems pretty straightforward here, so we'll find out. Connect the default protocol TCP ports by dragging the lines between the cleartext TCP port on the left and on the left with the associated secure TCP port on the right. Okay, so let's take a look here. You got cleartext left, secure on the right. All right, so port 80 is going to be 443. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Be sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Once you subscribe, be sure to hit that notification bell All right, so you know every time I post a new video. As you can see here, most people that view my videos, view my channel, are not subscribed. Now, if you do subscribe, it will help me get into the YouTube algorithm so that we can continue to grow our glorious community here. As always, thank you all for taking the time to watch. Have a nice day and enjoy the video. Hey, remember, if you get stuck, remember you can just go back to task number 4 here where we talked about everything up here. You got the insecure versions up here and the secure versions right here. All right, so you can just use these charts or these tables here to figure out the rest. And there's the flag. All right, so there you go. And let's go ahead and close this out. So we're done with this task. You may need to memorize these port numbers, protocols, and such if you're taking exams like the CompTIA or CompTIA Security Plus exams, all right? So be sure to get those memorized in your head. And also in the real world, if you don't know what the port number is, obviously you can use Google or some kind of AI chatbot these days to figure it out, okay? Task number 7, VPN. Consider a company with offices in different geographic locations. Can this company connect all its offices and sites to the main branch so that any device can access the shared resources as if physically connected in the main branch? The answer is yes. Furthermore, the most economical solution would be setting up a virtual private network, which is known as a VPN, using the internet infrastructure. The focus here is on the V for virtual and VPN. When the internet was designed, the TCP/IP protocol suite focused on delivering packets. For example, if a router gets out of service, the router protocols can adapt and pick up a different route to send the packets. If a packet was not acknowledged, TCP has built-in mechanisms to detect this situation and resend. However, no mechanisms are in place to ensure that all data leaving or entering a computer is protected from disclosure and alteration. A popular solution was the setup of a VPN connection. The focus here is on the P for private in VPN. Almost all companies require private information exchange in their virtual network, so a VPN provides a very convenient and relatively inexpensive solution. The main requirements are internet connectivity in a VPN server and client. The network diagram below shows an example of a company with two remote branches connecting to the main branch. A VPN client and the remote branches is expected to connect to the VPN server in the main branch. In this case, the VPN client will encrypt the traffic and pass it to the main branch via the established VPN tunnel. Shown in blue, the VPN traffic is limited to the blue lines. The green lines would carry the decrypted VPN traffic. And you can see that here, what they're talking about. Okay, you got the branch offices here, VPN clients on these boxes. All right, and then it's going to the main branch here over the internet. Okay, secure tunnel here, and it's connected to that VPN server right back in the corporate environment. And the network diagram below, we can see two remote users using VPN clients to connect to the VPN server in the main branch. In this case, the VPN client connects a single device. You can see that here, the clients or the laptops going over the internet securely through that VPN, going to the main branch to the VPN server right there. Once a VPN tunnel is established, all our internet traffic will usually be routed over the VPN connection, i.e. The VPN tunnel. Consequently, when we try to access an internet service or web application, they will not see our public IP address, but the VPN's servers. This is why some internet users connect over VPN to circumvent geographical restrictions. Furthermore, the local ISP will only see encrypted traffic, which limits its ability to censor internet access. That's right. That's how you bypass censorship and stuff out there. In other words, if a user connects to a VPN server in Japan, they will appear to the servers they access as if located in Japan. These servers will customize their experience accordingly, such as redirecting them to the Japanese version of the service. The screenshot below shows the Google search page after connecting to a VPN server in Japan. So there you are, connecting to the VPN server in Japan, and this is the Google VPN, or this is the Google Japan version, okay? Finally, although in many scenarios one would establish a VPN connection to route all the traffic over the VPN tunnel, some VPN connections don't do this. The VPN server may be configured to give you access to a private network, but not to route your traffic. Furthermore, some VPN servers leak your actual IP address, although they are expected to route all your traffic over the VPN. Depending on why you are using a VPN connection, you might need to run a few more tests, such as a DNS leak test. Finally, some countries consider using VPNs illegal and even punishable. Please check the local laws and regulations before using VPNs, especially while traveling. All right, question time. What would you use to connect the various company sites so that users are at a remote office can access resources located within the main branch? Well, we already know that you can use the VPN in order to accomplish that. And task number 8, closing notes. So looks like we have some practical application thing here to do. I'm gonna go ahead and just start this up. In this room, okay, in this room, we covered 3 main approaches to secure network traffic. The first approach is to use TLS, which provides a convenient way to secure many protocols such as HTTP, SMTP, and POP3. Protocols secured with TLS usually get an S for secure added to their name, such as HTTPS, SMTPS, and POP3S. The second approach to secure network traffic is to use a SSH. Although SSH is mainly used for remote access, it can also transfer files securely and establish secure tunnels. Creating an SSH tunnel is a solid choice if you want to pass the traffic of a plaintext protocol such as VNC. The last approach we covered to secure network traffic is using VPN connections. A VPN connection is usually the perfect option for connecting to company branches. We will finish this room with a hands-on challenge. Okay, challenge, start the machine, which is starting up right now. Split screen. We have set the browser to log the session's TLS keys, so we could take a closer look at the traffic using Wireshark. This logging was achieved by adding an extra option to the browser shortcut, executing the Chromium -SSL key, and you see the rest there. Dumps the TLS keys to the SSL-key.log file. The packet capture file is called Chromium-pcap or PC, yeah, pcap-ng, which is the new version of the pcap, and is saved in the documents folder. When you open the packet capture file in Wireshark, you can configure Wireshark to use the SSL-key .log file so that all TLS traffic gets decrypted. You can see the 5 steps to achieve this in the 2 screenshots below. First, after clicking or right-clicking anywhere, choose Protocol Preferences from the submenu. Select Transport Layer Security. Thirdly, click on Transport Layer Security Preferences. All right, so I guess you could follow along in these screenshots here. Clicking Open Transport Layer Security Preferences will show a dialog box. You must click the Browse button marked with 4 to locate the SSL-keylog.log file. You can find it in the documents directory. Finally, click OK, and Wireshark will show all the TLS decrypted. One of these packets contains login credentials. Okay. Question time. One of the packets contains login credentials. What password did the user submit? So go ahead and go through these steps, then come back to the video, and then we will see what we can find out. Now, if you follow the steps correctly, you should be able to find the answer to this question. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this packet here. The packet you want to take a look at is going to be this packet 366, okay? So we're going to go in, right-click it, and we're going to follow the stream here. And if we go in and take a look here, you can see information right here, okay? And then you can see pass equals, and this looks like the information that we need. So let's go ahead and grab this and copy this over like so. And that should be it for this. So let's go ahead and submit this. And that wraps up this room. Hopefully you all learned something here. If you did, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Comment on your thoughts and opinions on the information shared in the video. Share the video out, all that good stuff. Thank you all for taking time to watch my video. As always, and I will see you later. Have a nice day.